patiently waiting all this time, haven't you? We are ready to do a cleanup operation in here as usual. It is the big clean day. I'm not going to show you in too much detail, but I've taken a little bit of a different approach this time. I have been washing pads and beds all day, so the cage is looking quite bare, but it means that there's not that much stuff to change over now I'm actually going to take the liners out. Whilst we enjoy the piggies exploring their new clean cage, let's get onto the topic of this week's video, which is guinea pig dominance and how to work out who is the boss. I also want to chat about what to do if you're worried that your already bonded piggies aren't actually getting along that well, because I get loads of questions on this and the solution is not always to separate them. I've owned a lot of guinea pigs, starting with 2 male piggies, followed by pairs and then groups of females. I've introduced adult females and young females, and more recently neutered males into my guinea pig herd. At the moment, as you may know, I have Nacho, the neutered boar, Phoebe, who's a senior lady, Callie is a middle-aged girl, and Penelope and Minnie, who are 2 girls, not yet fully grown. And I know for a fact the pecking order we have here. Nacho is the boss, then Phoebe, then Callie, then Penelope, and then Minnie last of all. Guinea pigs always set up a ranking or a hierarchy. Even if they seem to get along well, one pig is always either dominant or subordinate to the next piggy. And it's only through watching their behaviours and looking for telltale signs that it's possible to work out who is boss and even work out the precise order of the other piggies. Some signs are more obvious than others, so a clear display of dominance you can look for is a dominant piggy kicking another pig out of a bed or a hidey that they want to be in. The other pig doesn't fight back but runs away. Occasionally, they may stay put out of pure stubbornness, sometimes squealing to let the dominant piggy know that they aren't happy about the situation, but that they aren't going to challenge them. Another one is the more dominant pig stealing food off the others. Though some piggies are better at this than others, and you can get super sneaky subordinate piggies stealing food. They will normally run away with it though, whilst a dominant one will stay put. Both these behaviours are normal and a reflection of our guinea pig's natural selfishness. Sometimes it might look mean, but it's usually nothing to worry about. Another interesting one is if one piggy enters another's personal space. They don't always react, but if a dominant pig, say, jumps into a litter box with a lower ranking pig already in there, the subordinate pig might either jump out and run away to avoid confrontation, or they might make a sort of agitated, complaining type noise, which is kind of their way of saying, I don't like you being here, but I don't want to move either. This might just get ignored by the dominant piggy, or they might make a quick jab and get the less dominant pig to run away. And jabbing in general, where they go to nip or quickly bite or snap at the other pig, is very common. And if it's in isolation with no teeth chattering or circling or facing each other off, it's nothing to be worried about, and it's just pigs being pigs, which is dramatic. Dominant pigs generally do it more, but sometimes it can work the other way if a less dominant pig feels threatened. Next up is chasing and mounting. These are also quite common and can be a sign of dominance, so you might see the dominant piggy doing it more often. However, a lot of the time this randiness is also just hormone driven, so females in heat will do it to pretty much anything, and males will respond to females in heat, or if there's no females around, they'll just do it to each other. Over the years, I've learned that the telltale signs of who's boss come from the less dominant piggies. Backing down, squealing, running away, not rising to a challenge are all signs that they are not the dominant one in that interaction. And it might sound wrong, but it's actually good to see these behaviours and have this confirmed. We want the less dominant pigs to give in, because if they don't back down, it means they could challenge the more dominant piggy for the top position, putting pressure on their bond and their relationship. So what are some warning signs that this could be happening? Well, you have teeth chattering, lunging at each other, and generally facing each other off in an aggressive way with neither pig backing down. And I'm not talking about outright fighting here, as in furball fights where they may pull out big chunks of hair or cause injuries to each other. If your piggies are fighting like that, then it's likely the bond is already broken and they should really be separated. I do have a video on recognizing proper fights and what to do about potential injuries, so I'll put that in the description in case you need it. So if they're not fighting, but you are worried you are seeing aggressive behaviours or bullying, just watch them and see if you can see what might be triggering them to fall out. Is it when they're both trying to eat out of the same food bowl or drink at the same water bottle? Maybe they're arguing about who gets the best hidey hut or the best spot to eat hay from. Maybe even one side of the cage is more sheltered and this is causing them to be in each other's personal space more than they'd like to be. Don't get me wrong, guinea pigs are definitely social and happier in the company of others, but this very rarely translates to them being happy enough to cuddle with each other. The general rule is that they like friends as long as they keep their distance and don't try to steal any of their stuff. Let's talk solutions, and first up, an obvious one is to increase their cage size. Perhaps your cage was too small anyway, so an upgrade is now an absolute must in order to stop them fighting. A 2x4 CNC cage, which is 143 centimeters by 73 centimeters or 56 by 29 inches, should be the minimum size for 2 females. Male piggies are more dominant and tend to need at least a 2x5 CNC cage. And personally, if I was worried about my guinea pigs not getting along, I would avoid lofts and ramps. Piggies can often favour the part of the cage that's under the top level and then argue over who gets to hang out there. Or a bullied pig may just end up taking refuge in the much smaller loft space. I've had both of these things happen in the past. The next solution is to look at the cage layout and accessories. Make sure your piggies have one each of everything that they like using most. One each of a pellet bowl and a water bottle and a hay area that they can enjoy on their own without being too close to their cage mate. Same goes for one each of a good hidey hut where they can have a roof over their heads. Bear in mind that open beds are not usually used as much as more sheltered items like wooden arches and hammocks. That said, avoid using hideys with only a single small entrance, such as those plastic igloos. They are just asking for confrontations. Being able to relax and have time out on their own will mean that your piggies are in a better mood to tolerate their cage mates. Number 3 is don't get lazy when it comes to piggy chores. They're more likely to be unhappy and bored and argue with each other if they're in a dirty environment, or if they don't have clean water every day, or if they aren't getting enough hay or fresh food. This one obviously applies regardless, but just make sure they're getting the best care whilst they might be ironing out any dominance problems. Once you've done these things, give them time and monitor them closely. If you see them being aggressive, is there anything else that might have triggered it? And some bonds just need time to settle into a new home and a new environment. For example, if you've adopted pre-bonded rescue piggies and you're worried about whether they're actually friends or not. Some bonds, unfortunately, are just the wrong match for each other, and piggies need to live separately if they are fighting. If this happens, one solution is to put a cage divider in there so they can still be happy to see and interact with each other, but they're obviously kept in their own separate spaces. This works for a lot of people, and if this is what you've got going on with your own piggies, then please let us know down in the comments below. I really hope this video has helped, and if you are in this situation, let us know how you and your piggies got on and what worked for you. As always everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the piggy footage, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye!